Alright, I'm seeing my movie be a aquaba. Now, me from Mega TV and platform we eso. Ene Constitution Day. Ene a da Yura John Dramani Mahama Ghana for APA in their numbers on 7th of December 2024 last year ya ekotwaba edema NDC amanyukunu ema MPP amanyukunu edi entwopotoro ene ye da yedi owura to esi akundwa so na yamana so akofenam na waso Bible mu na waye de wasoe the oath of allegiance. What you say na wakantam wadisi akantam se odi no kwaredie ebeye adwuma na odi sebi eye parepare ene adwuma din aso Ghana abuzia ene a remarkable day and it is interesting history. This is a history and Ayura John Dramani Mahama with me Ameki because he is the only former president that wasn't ever back to this throne. In fact, and yet is a naunim and Brana also a speaker of parliament in no Yura Kingsford Albans Minor Babin no Afenyo Markins Disgraced in home in some way and I say the all Kenyan sebi nyansa ensheda enim ochiremwa or say the determination no and answer the endorsement no and answer the nomination of the speaker of the 9th parliament Kingsford Albans Minor Babin no John Dramani Mahama and the leadership of the NDC caucus in parliament and omo omo ediba say omunfa Album Babin embrebio. Now if they have any reliable source, they should bring it out. And someone now can sebi and me say frustrated akwara wagin ball na sebi o sunu hu di onyo de ho to form now ye say nkuguo na mudi no and then Yura Afenyo Markins display say he is indeed a minority leader. Yenkuti is na okan after that, speaker how he was sworn in as the next parliament, as the speaker of parliament in the 9th parliament. The yenko he say video ni emfa embre koba naka ina betwa so yemfa na sesonko any credit in Emma Smart Ghana update omo e na mo bo amia me so binya adwumadi bi e de beso mo
for the election of the speaker.
The chairman, I move that Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin do take the chair of this house as the speaker of the 9th parliament of the 4th republic.
Chairman, it is my distinct honor to rise to second this motion ably moved by my respected colleague, Dr. Kesil Atoba Fossum. But before, Mr. Chairman, I have in my hand a statement issued by the office of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, titled President-elect mandate NDC parliamentary leadership to nominate Right Honorable ASK Bagbin as Speaker of 9th Parliament. It reads, the President-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has in consultation with the National Executive and Parliamentary leadership of National Democratic Congress mandated the nomination
Mr. Chairman
of the Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin as Speaker of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, this letter is signed by Mr. Felix Ofosu, Kwachi Ofosu, as special aide. Chairman, the preliminary issue I'm raising is to the effect that the nomination
Mr. Chairman,
only requires the consent
where from
of
that
the
letter?
person to be nominated.
Where from that letter?
the situation where
it must not be tolerated
that the executive now directs that a member should nominate would make this arm of government
House of Records.
An appendage of the executive. Mr. Chairman,
where from that
letter is the objection that I have.
There must be no remark, no debate. What the minority leader, who has not told us if it is now spiritually okay for him to sit in the minority leader's chair. I don't know what his spiritual advisors are telling him now. He cannot be violating our standing orders with such impunity. We cannot accept it.
In law, Mr. Blakwa, you pay attention. This is a matter of law. This is a matter of law. This is a matter of law. Law, pay attention.
Honorable Minority Leader, I take it that you have seconded the motion. If you haven't seconded the motion, Honorable Minority Leader, you will second the motion. You will not proceed on any other matter apart from seconding the motion. So long as I remain the chair of these proceedings, you will not do any other thing apart from seconding the motion. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, with the greatest respect to you. Wait, Mr. Chairman, with the greatest respect to you. A preliminary matter is a preliminary matter. Having raised them, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, having raised them, I shall proceed, therefore, to second the motion moved by my legislator colleague.
Thank you very much, honorable members. At this time, I want to find out, is there any other nomination? No. All right.
Mr. Chairman, in response to your question, our side has no other nomination. Just for the record, we do not have any other nomination. Why are you scared? You think we want to pull a fast one on you? Why are you scared? Mr. Speaker, why are they scared? We are not pulling a fast one on you. We will not. Are you sure you don't have any other nomination yourself? Mr. Chairman, I want to find out from our side. Mr. Chairman, have patience for the process. Our side, the MPP minority, has no other nomination. But we want to find out from the backbench whether they have any other nomination. They should tell us. Whether they are only relying on the president-elect's nomination or they have another one. They should let us know.
There be no other nomination. I hereby duly declare Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin as having been elected as Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin is being conducted into the House. I shall invite the Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Justice Tokonu, to proceed to the days for the administration of oath.
I, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
To the Republic of Ghana.
to the Republic of Ghana,
as by law established,
as by law established,
that I will uphold the sovereignty
that I will uphold the sovereignty
and integrity of Ghana,
and integrity of Ghana,
and that I will preserve,
and that I will preserve,
protect, and defend the Constitution
of
the Republic of Ghana.
of the Republic of Ghana.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Now we will have the Speaker's oath. I,
Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagui,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Republic of Ghana,
to the Republic of Ghana,
as by law established,
as by law established,
that I will uphold the integrity
that I will uphold the integrity
of the Republic of Ghana,
of the Republic of Ghana,
that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge my duties as Speaker of Parliament, and that I will uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and that I will do right to all manner of persons in accordance with the Constitution of Ghana and the laws and conventions of Parliament without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
So help me God.
Ayiko. Yes.
So it is quite, clear. Say Afenyo Markins has nothing to do. He has nothing to share. You see, I want people for Kokoso. I want to one we are now why mobile. Sana to meet here. This time, Ghana for you, the 2 million more. Unye di ope. And this for us, Musia Bibi free momo. Say mo betina so bio. Na mo the Ghana for Idiagura. Then I was saying ye jai political party a chiridi. Na ye kope military ruby enemu. Yes, not just a political party so more Ghana omunsuya ade. I'm telling you. And this for so mo betina so. Na the MPP ye dia yo mu. As a Muslim be repeating the same thing na ye mubia. Hey, then we should forget about political parties. Me, I'm saying this for the last time. This is my last year endorsement. I made my political party. See me, baby. Na my campaign there, but in this failure, sir, I will never campaign for any political party, no matter what. Canada, Japan, Kwabedi, and MPP, and I will never do that. Because Nanado eka de okan no ese credit Japan de na okay kana kura. But again you see and that must tell Ghanaians say, oh, not just a political parties now we see ye adun fuse ne kope military rule and as a queen and king be rule what as a monarchy bit yepe ye asante hene ana gamanche emo mudi Ghana so what you say na Ghana ebe monarchical what democracy or say whatever. And we are praying the MPP NDC for so Omumba said the MPP for ye wedding chopoto no more the anachese ye nebija political party chidina sebi science phone in hunu ye dia to baby na ya move on in life what you say. Anyway, you say Omumba deliver what you say because you see the seriousness also. If you John the money Mahama and didn't have list of appointment buyer any nema was say a year to say This one has come back with a lot of lessons learned. What they are there, until bit me IBB, and we are hoping that your bompire sitting and coupon so no so obekana kuma. Na there was oye no ubit me na ne crop for no bet you so mono. They should do better. Abusia yenko na yenko ti the history be a course so before say Albans minor Babel be swear in as the next speaker of parliament. Yenko ti in some way emfa bra koba binaka ina ebeto so yemfa credit ne Emma, yeah, I think channel 1 TV. What you say, channel 1, channel 1, channel 1, Yamfa Emma Mo and I'm boy, Yensu Yasa, this will be a debra yeti for Yonko na Yonko Sans and Semno Emfa and Becobetos.
And also Andrew Esiama, who is the member of parliament for the Fomena constituency. So once the roll call is done and the house is called to order, then the Chief Justice will equally walk in, and then when the clerk calls the house to order, the MPs would now be informed about the house in the session. Now when that is done, then they will now elect. Already they know who the person is. Then the Chief Justice will walk in and just swear in the speaker. When the Chief Justice swears in the speaker, now the onus now lies on the speaker to swear in members of the house. That's where they will be taking the oath of office and the oath of allegiance. All of that would be done, you know, with the speaker spearheading that. We've already gotten indication of the position of the speaker a while ago. Talk about the controversial seat, quote and unquote. We already know the position of the speaker. It's quite likely that the speaker may not attempt swearing in not just the three outstanding, that's Ablekuma, North, Fantiakwa, and then Ekwetia. It's likely, and we are being a bit careful about that, but the indications we get coming also from on the back of comment the speaker is made in the past week on his position on those controversial issues, matters that are sub judice. It does appear that those constituencies, I think about nine or so of them, may not have their MPs been sworn in. It remains yet to be known what it is. We have equally been digging, you know, to find out whether those MPs have come to do the registration. We haven't been successful at getting information on this, but I would want to stand by what the speaker has said in the past days, that left to him alone, I mean, whatever action is null and void, and so there's no contention with respect to that. But after that is done, I think what it means is that we will now see the full nomenclature of what a house looks like, and from look of things, as you can see the joy on the faces of the NDC MPs have seen the chief whip. I think it's the two deputy speakers are just on the right side, the two seats just on the right side of was in Ahmed Ibrahim, and so they would sit the first deputy and then the second deputy, and so they will spill over. If you count the seat, it's quite likely also the NDC MPs would also be sitting will spill over up to this side, because if you look at the numbers, I mean 183 is quite to occupy all of that seat, even if you count the back benches and all that. For now, they are going with the current leadership of the we can comfortably call them now the majority. The NDC is not going to break ranks for now with them. They would go with them for the time being, pending appointment or the ministerial appointment by the president-elect John Dramani Mahama. It's when the expectation is that a few of them who are in leadership may be affected by that, so they will have to hold on with them and like that. But the expectation is that yes, quite between 2 or 3 of them quite likely to be affected, and so they should just keep them aside. But if you look at it, yes, of course, there's that indication that there's 9 or so MPs, from what I am trying to get from my sources, the Speaker may not want to venture into it until the matter is dealt with and a final conclusion had on this. The Speaker may want to stay off the whole thing. We are equally also not really aware or seen physically the gazette for these MPs by the Electoral Commission, even though they have informed the House that yes, these are the individuals, but we haven't seen the gazette as of yet. And so I mean, we equally do not expect any controversy. There's absolutely not going to be any controversy. I mean, in the 8th, because the House was split, of course they had to do that, and we equally do not expect, you know, any quote unquote military intervention today, because of course, I mean, there's no issue to be contested herein and all that. So, well, maybe we will have to wait and see how things will be able to pan out. But yeah, you can see the joy of them. I wish we were down there. We are not permitted down there. The joy on the faces of especially Ahmed Ibrahim, who is at the other side. He's been wanting to be at that side, and so now for quite a while, I don't know how he feels being at that side. Maybe Roxanne can join us for us to have a feel. We are not able to get to you, but yes, you can come to side of the. It was just been few hours that they were at this side. Now they've moved to the other side. But it's
more of the invited guest dignitaries, and then relations to these MPs yet to be sworn in, making their way into the House proper, awaiting the official of proceedings. In the next few minutes ahead of us is crucial for what is going to be happening in the next 2 hours ahead of us. Because if you recall, prior to the inauguration of this 8th Parliament and the processes leading to the election or selection of the Speaker of Parliament for that 8th Parliament, it was characterized with a lot of chaos, with the Member of Parliament for the Tema West constituency, Carlos Ahinkra, snatching the ballot box that was used for the process of selecting the Speaker. And you recall, their Shaman MP, whom we are hearing today, that's Ernest Nogbe, also indicating that he doesn't regret at all taking or snatching the Speaker's seat, because in his view, that was also the process to protect the democratic activity that was taking place in Parliament at the time. We don't expect that kind of chaos would happen in this process, because the numbers in the 8th Parliament were quite crucial to everything that happened even before the life of that Parliament began. But today, we're going to see less of the chaos, but obviously the process does not change. That's what we're going to see right now.
Okay. Well, I'll slightly disagree with Alfred, because I'll show that the very first step of the process could potentially be chaotic because of some issues that have cropped up in the courts. And depending on how both sides of the House have been able to engage to resolve that particular matter, if they are not able to resolve it before they come into the chamber, then potentially the clerk would have a big challenge on his hands. That is the issue of identifying the members of Parliament, the elect, identifying them and carrying out that roll call. So we'll walk you through the process. We'll also look at the issue of the caucusing and what it will mean, particularly for the independent members of Parliament. We've engaged some of them earlier, and they have already indicated that they are considering joining either the majority or the minority. And so all of that in the next couple of hours as we build up to the dissolution of the current Parliament, inauguration of the next Parliament, Bella.
Well, I've seen an article where Carlos Ahinkra, for example, was indicating that after he snatched that ballot paper, I think he chewed it as well. Did he not? Well, he sort of lost favor with the president. I mean, the president
was expecting some
the president wasn't too excited about, you know, that single act in Parliament, and I'm not sure what the situation is like.
I mean, what we can be sure of is no one will be chewing paper this time around.
Well, we hope. You never know. We didn't think anybody was going to chew paper a few years ago, but someone did.
You may have to chew more than one to make a difference because of how wide the numbers are.
Absolutely.
Well, gentlemen, take over.
Well, there you have it. So, Joe, this is it. And the point I was making, and look, this point of departure that we have in all of this, I was limiting specifically to the election of the Speaker.
Absolutely.
Whatever happens, that disagreement that you talk about, how is it going to affect this first process of the election of the Speaker?
Well, they would have to cross a certain hurdle. And so first, this is a summary. This is a summary. And so first is the election of speaker. Yeah. After the election of speaker, they'll do the swearing of the speaker and members. Then they will adjourn for the swearing in of the president-elect. And like we've been saying from the start of the coverage, is the fact that the swearing in and everything that you see is part of the parliamentary process. And so it is a parliament hearing because under Article 53 of the Constitution, the president is sworn in the presence of parliament. And so that will be a proceedings of parliament. But the specific procedure, the first step, is what I disagree with you on. Right. The first event that will be taking place once the members of parliament-elect come into the chamber will be that the clerk will conduct a roll call of the members of parliament-elect. Now, I foresee this to be a challenge, the reason being that there are issues with regards to some of the constituencies. We've heard the incoming Speaker of Parliament, we can describe him as such, right?
Absolutely.
He had made a point that, look, he had heard the Electoral Commission declare and set aside and redeclare some individuals as members of parliament-elect. And he makes the point that, well, he's the gatekeeper, and he's told the clerk that if he takes the view that some of those declarations are unconstitutional, he's not going to allow for the swearing in, he's not going to swear in those members of parliament.
But
so that's the first point.
You do know as well that we had this conversation and it was quite clear that it does not lie in the bosom of the speaker.
Absolutely.
To determine who is an illegitimate member of parliament, so-called.
Absolutely.
To the extent that the Electoral Commission has done its job, gazetted these MPs, the speaker does not have any choice than to swear them in. Does he have any other choice than to do that?
I mean, we can point to what happened in 2020. I mean, in terms of the last elections, what happened on the first day. You recall James Jachikwesi. You recall in that incident, the attention of the speaker was drawn to the fact that there was an individual who had been injuncted by the court from participating in the proceedings.
That's right.
And the NPP forcefully drew his attention because they wanted to raise it and have him take some action.
Yes.
But the speaker at the time took the view that, look, if someone has been injuncted and he wants to participate, let's let him do so and he will bear the consequence of whatever happens. We do not know if in this particular instance it is brought his attention, whether he will take a similar position or whether he will take a different opinion. Because we've also heard the NDC Director of Legal Affairs, for instance, Edugita Maklo, make the point that, look, because of the fact that they have filed an appeal and they've also filed a stay, which unfortunately they couldn't move today because of the non-service, they expect that at least the Electoral Commission will respect the orders of the court and the fact that there's a pending possibility that things could change and not proceed to transmit those names over to Parliament.
But you make the point that to the extent that the stay of execution, that particular case was not heard today because the various parties were not duly served. It cannot mean that the process has ended, and to that effect, there's a legal consequence if these MPs who have the controversy around them are sworn in. We can say for sure that for Akwetia and then also for Fantiakwa North, what we do know is that there's some processes in place. It is Akwetia that the injunction has been duly served.
So the question now to you is whether the Akwetia MP will also be showing up in Parliament.
Well, if he shows up in Parliament, then we would now do it falls directly into the James Jachikwesi case. If Parliament has been notified of that injunction, then the clerk to Parliament obviously would have to acknowledge that, and this Akwetia MP elect would not be sworn in.
That is why I make the point at the initial stages. Again, there's a bit about Fantiakwa as well.
Yes.
For Fantiakwa, we know that there is an application that has been made. The judge who was supposed to hear the matter has recused himself. He says because of conflict issues, he hails from one of the areas within the constituency, so he's staying away from the case. The lawyers take the view that, look, there's a pending application, so don't proceed with that. We don't know how that will also be approached in that particular instance.
But to the extent that application has not been heard and eventually executed, I don't see the legal hurdle here. Absolutely. But then again, Edugita Maklo makes the point that the swearing in is not the alpha and omega of the process. The swearing in can be done, but then the legitimacy or eligibility of these members of parliament can be challenged because the legal process is enforced.
Then we can now go a step further and look at a place like Ablekuma North. We know that has not been concluded.
Yes.
We know that the NDC had earlier taken the view that, look, their candidate had already been declared the winner and is the winner of that particular election, is the MP elect. Will she show up? We don't expect that to happen.
Obviously.
Absolutely not. And so that is why we make the point that the very first step where the clerk will conduct the roll call is very important, because if all these matters are not handled properly before they get into the chamber, then it will mean that when he's conducting the roll call, there will be some names that may be called and also have various challenges. And so that is the first hurdle that we'll have to clear. Once they cross over with that hurdle, the second hurdle becomes the members elect will make nominations. And we are getting a sense of what will happen in this instance. I mean, we expect the majority side to simply nominate Alban Babin.
Yes.
We do not expect the minority side to make a nomination because of even what we had Alexander Afenyo Markins say during the closing remarks.
True.
In fact, he suggested that they were the ones praying for Babin to be retained.
So it gives an indication that, look, it's going to be a straightforward thing.
Yes.
But if you listen to the position that they have taken over the period, it appears quite clearly that this compromise and their focus is going to be on the second deputy speaker, right? So we can safely say that Alban Babin is going to serve a second term as member of parliament. And it's instructive because this is a man, as we were talking earlier, who's served 28 years as member of parliament, 4 years as Speaker of Parliament, an additional 4 years again.
In between, he has been
Deputy Speaker of Parliament at some point, first Deputy, second Deputy Speaker of Parliament. That's 36 years of his life that he spent in Parliament, serving in various capacities. And he comes in as the second Speaker of Parliament in the Fourth Republic.
After Justice D.F.
Annan to have served 2 terms as Speaker of Parliament. It's pretty interesting because from 1992, Justice D.F. Annan retaining in 1996 as Speaker of Parliament. But then in the year 2000, we saw him.
So exactly the point. Enti ene ye gwa twene ye so ye hwe ni mu se ye papa ye John Dramani Mahama obetimi aso akofana mu na widen wetimi aye the next president of Ghana. I remember 8 years ago, a day like this, Akufo-Addo saw Akofo-Addo Issawie or delivered his speech. Akwane bowa be 10 minutes no yenjai or bowa sa mumu bread so. Sana Nyankopon ndo yo Nyankopon ho okasa che ni po batayana ye no ye ne yemma ho kwan. 2016 oye campaign no obohonum serious. What you say? Obohonum serious. Pacho Mfanchem, hello boss Pacho, me ye broadcast me frosis here wada Roma. Enti 2016 Mfanchem. 2016 oye campaign no. Ohe hawa na we see eye ne nema, in fact na esre kwa. Also kujina platform biso mani bu no se mo kai na do dan Akufo-Addo platform bu ni gum I think say 2 times or 3 times na eye ade bi Nyankopon kasa kire Ghana for na ya ade bi Nyankopon enam so o ma Ghana for ye signal say hey owura wi mo maye ni nda ho ewo ne ho mo maye ye ni nda ho ewo ne ho because obeje kunbia na ye ho bekire ena obeso Akofo-Addo nso wiye no odi ntro Nyankopon ni say ntro na odi no obowa what dey normal but you will find yourself in certain behaviors no aya it should tell something to you. Aya say ye na edidi nso si nchen utimi num bi mane ye but obetimi abowa atwa so for so many times yimbisa ye ho by initially na yes anatie initially ni yen hu bisada then it should tell us something. It should clearly give us classical example of which kind of person you are going to be. Ene na do dan Akufo-Addo we twato ka me no ka se wonye president bio opompio onye president bio se Mahama so ino nyanso ino ene na aban agu MPP aban ni ho bio. I'm telling you ene MPP aban eni ho bio MPP aban ni ho bio kopinse 4 years ne beso e beto aba na determine dia obetu obi ara for beto amano until that no MPP for you forget you have nothing to do ene wo hu chama wuntu many more than nam kuruma ene wo hu Nkofo bi ma mu di MPP achi keka nsem fo kire Ghana fo no na ponu mo hu dia omoni ma ya omodi nam kuruma e ka kire mu se tumi nyamudi ya o tumi to me all powers belongs to God. Na nipa so enyemu kakra e de ama ne yonku nipa. Na mo ne nam ha na mo ye de be. Mo sekete santi bedi atu no hin ne ho gbum. Ena santi bedi atu wai. Ena santi bedi atu e wai. So sorry in kura ntimi hwe bi. Obehwe bi ohwe ne TV so, ohwe ne phone so, ohwe ne wherever that he was. But so the NBC grounds emfa. But who is Asante Bediatu? He is ambassador at large. He is the secretary to the president. But ye be say yaho. So ye the two mawa yamfa nye kitikiti. Ye the seven nipa. We don't intimidate. We then serve the people. Ye the two me e the serve yaho. Yamfa enye de yamfa huna yaho. Said the MPP for the year Ghana for no. MPP for the year Ghana for no. Enti me de meka yetu momone for no wetu okura so for her NDC for. This is a classical example. As a political party, you people should be very careful in this administration. Amasha sia mo be wurami na sentisa na mo nso wo ya na Ghana for you lose interest in you. Hey na chese afi the MDC MPP for new grounds, and you know say political parties say MPP na NDC me ebasa na me interest ni baby ebio. I see, then I will be pushing different agenda. That one day I won't tell you. I will be pushing different agenda. I will shift from NDC and MPP and I will pushing different agenda because me remote say NDC be Jimmy, say be MPP be Jimmy, and I still be the Omochi. No, I will never do that. I will push different agenda. So I am trying as much as possible to say so John Dramani Mahama Ghana there. Then the next election I will back NDC. So when me the Papa Biano and me Masa, I will never waste my time to follow NDC and campaign, especially on my platform. The Beya the Fufro. It we are all hoping say Papa no e be deliver na Ghana for ye wahin hand. After all, ye Ghana ye dia na ye pio. Politicians no mo ye wi ti mo maye nso ye nyi ne ho ntoye sabiye maame a wote eye dansuman oti kaneshi oti eye kantamanto oti kejeti market no ono nso ne niam at least okom nto kakrama no no nso nya aduani ndi one ne mane ne busuafo at least obi oye abunadwuma no nso da katu abosome so a emunye duruma no ntimi nko nenim. That is the living, that is the economy we are talking about. Anye so betina so no mu di the VAT popin na sa na afiaso na mu begina no maka chese ye koto aba. No. Enti that is it. Yankopon hira me ma metie ba for United States of America ma me yankopon yo kese. Sanso ma me roye bi e UK yankopon hira me ma me no bibia o hwe mega TV no yankopon hira makra bye bye.